The US government is getting into business. Intel, AMD, Westinghouse, Nvidia, MP Materials, US Steel, and Lithium America. These are just some of the names where the government now has a direct financial influence over their operations. It's an unusual move for the United States, a country which prides itself on free markets. But whether it's through reduced regulations, equity stakes, and now even revenue sharing, the government has never been more involved in US business. In December, the Trump administration gave AI chipmaker Nvidia permission to sell more powerful, advanced chips to China. The move undoes a Biden administration policy of restricting sales of AI chips to potential adversaries. But more interesting to the market were the terms of that deal. The US government earns 25% of revenue from any chips sold to China under the new plan. Despite the onerous terms of the deal, the market responded positively to the move. Nvidia shares rose in December after the deal was announced.
In the classic finance, this should have done the opposite, right? It's very clear, right? You're basically changing the growth path of cash flows. And, any Finance 101 student knows that there has to be some impairment to future cash flows, to current value. But alas, the market spoke, and the market is the ultimate arbiter of all things.
That was Malek, Chief Investment Officer at Siebert Financial. He says the market is sending a message that the opportunity to sell chips to China is so big that even an extra mega tax, which the deal functionally is, isn't enough to dampen market enthusiasm.
It is very interesting to me that the market reacted so positively. I think we're all still a little surprised.
This deal with Nvidia was just the most recent of several unprecedented moves taken by the US government to acquire shares, revenue, or some other financial interest in enterprises by the US government. Take Intel, which this summer saw the US Commerce Department take an unprecedented 10% stake. Trump administration officials framed the deal as a matter of national security, with US Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick saying it would keep the US dominant in artificial intelligence. The Trump administration also took stakes in various minerals and metals corporations, which included a 7.5% stake in MP Materials, a 5% stake in Lithium Americas, and a golden share in US Steel. The moves intertwining business with government, while unprecedented, are not entirely novel. In the peak of the financial crisis, the US government acquired shares of insurance giant AIG, banks, and even controversially acquired a 60.8% stake in General Motors. At the time, the government argued the potential loss of jobs would have been worse for the US economy than the costs borne by taxpayers in the bailouts. But there is no significant financial crisis looming. Intel is not a company in clear distress, but what Malek considers a fundamentally solid company that missed several strategic turning points around smartphones and now AI. In fact, Malek says that taking the government's money may create more problems than it could potentially fix.
When the government starts investing money like that in domestic companies, that sort of sets up a world where you worry that companies are going to always try to court government money at this point. Are they going to sit here and start to think, well, let's conduct business that can attract government money? You don't want that. You want companies to focus on profit and profit alone, right? Optimal allocation of assets.
But what does this mean for the future of US business? Malek says the moves may be driven by a move to a more tactical form of capitalism, geared to helping preserve the US market. Rather than a wholesale change, Malek suggests the government moves are just a new step in how capitalism is evolving.
The US is still the forge of true capitalism in the world, okay? People come here because of capitalism, and capitalism is not an easy thing. It is an evolving thing. This is a regime in capitalism's history. It will always redefine itself slightly. But I think, as like most markets that we follow, things revert to the mean. At the end of the day, the driving force for all of us, for the markets, for all these companies that are going to innovate, that continue to innovate, it's capitalism.
For Investors Business Daily, this is Mike Zhuang.